want to welcome you back to our exciting series on Team Ministry. Team Ministry is an amazing opportunity, and it's also an amazing challenge for everyone. And I'm here with Al Wood, and both Al and I are members of the staff here at Morningstar. We've both been here for 22 years, and it's been an exciting journey. We have had the opportunity and the challenges to work with one another in team ministry and work around a whole variety of people. And so, as I've said in previous series, Al played for 5 Hall of Fame basketball coaches. He played for Dean Smith and a man named MacLeod, was it?
Yeah, John MacLeod.
John MacLeod. And each one of these guys, whether it was Larry Brown or Dave Gavin, I believe, they all had a different thing to contribute to Al's overall athletic career. And so what we're trying to do is pull out from our personal athletic experience some lessons that will help us relate to whatever station the Lord has us in life, whether it's in ministry life like Al and I are, or whether it's in business or in the community or just working with a whole variety of different people. I will tell you this, is that both Al and I have raised kids, and we know when we see a good coach, and we know when we see a coach that's not quite up to speed. So we're trying to draw out some lessons that we've learned and see the Lord speak to you about some of the things that might be current in your life that you can utilize to become all that God wants you to be. So Al, welcome again.
Thank you.
We're looking forward to this session. One of the things that we talked about at the end of the last session is there's attitudes, actions, or things that individuals can do that will set back a team. And so we want to try and avoid some of these things. And the last session, we talked about an individual that's selfish and how that can affect the overall atmosphere of a team.
Yeah, it's very, very important that there's a certain amount of selfishness that is understood. And because you don't get to that point without being special. I mean, when I say special, that you have thousands and thousands of people in professional sports that's trying to get there, but only a handful of people make it.
Yeah.
So the chances of you making it are a whole lot less than what you are of actually making it. So selfishness to a certain degree is great, but not when your selfishness is detrimental to the team. So it's important that you got to separate the two. Anything that's going to be detrimental to the team, then you need to confront it and you need to get rid of it.
Well, one of the things that an athlete can't do is shrink back from the moment. And we need to be all that we can be in order for us to be a productive member of the team. And sometimes, I'm sure this happened in your life, and I think it happened in the NCAA semifinals when you played against Virginia. You still have the record for the most points scored in a semifinal NCAA Final Four. I think it was 39 points against Virginia.
That's correct.
But you had to be the guy that was selfish with the ball because that's what Dean Smith wanted for you, and you had the hot hand.
Yes.
And so had you not done that, you wouldn't have been the right contributor to the team in that moment.
This is true. If normally we have this, what we call the motion offense.
Yeah.
And when we come up the court, we pass the ball, and a lot of times the coach would say, let's make at least 3 passes before we take the first shot.
Yeah.
The reason for that is we want to make the defense work.
Yeah.
If you come down the court and you just take up the first shot you get and the defense don't have to work and you miss the shot, chances are the other team can get a fast break and you find yourself in a hole in a hurry.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure that you make the other team work hard on defense. And one of the things that Coach Smith told us that, though, if someone has the hot hand, though, we go to them.
Yeah.
And I had the hot hand in 1981 in Philadelphia, and my teammates realized I had the hot hand, so they just kept feeding me the ball.
That's just part of being a good teammate, too. He didn't want them to be dribbling the ball when you were as hot as you were.
That's true. He didn't want. But the beautiful part about it is that particular team that I played on, my teammates knew it. They knew what I was capable of doing. Just like on that team, we had a guy who went on to be one of the top 50 players of all time, James Worthy. He played on that team. And James Worthy was an absolutely phenomenal basketball player in every sense of the word, as well as Sam Perkins. He played like 20 years in the NBA. So he also was on that team. So although on that particular game, I was the person that probably got most of all the recognition, but my teammates played a critical role in the way things turned out.
So this is an example of what you're talking about in terms of being selfish. You have to step up for the moment. And had you not done that, you wouldn't have won that game. I mean, you guys played the championship game against, I think it was Indiana.
Indiana, yes.
And although you didn't win the championship, I mean, wasn't that the year that Indiana was undefeated?
No. They had lost, but what happened, what most people remember, is it was the day that President Reagan got shot.
Oh, okay.
So it really was a crazy day where basketball really wasn't that important because we just had the President of the United States to get shot that same day.
Wow. So, but let's look on the other side of this selfishness attribute or quality that needs to be avoided. Some people a Bible word for it might be selfish ambition. And the Bible says to avoid that. In the book of James, it talks about this being the product of every evil work. And so when I have seen and I've played with individuals that were more self-centered and they weren't team-oriented, can you comment or think about any response or people that you might have? I'm not asking you to name it.
Right. No, but there's situation in particular in the NBA, probably a little bit more than in college. And the reason is so in the NBA is because of the contracts. You structure a contract where you make a player become selfish, such as in basketball, if a player score a certain amount of points, then he will
get a bonus or
get
whatever.
a bonus. If a person get more rebounds, and you say, well, that's a great thing getting a rebound. No, it's not a great thing getting a rebound if you have a rebound and I basically run over you just to try to get the rebound because I'm thinking about my personal stats, then that's not a good thing. So all of the stats need to come within the team concept.
Yeah.
So if a person can get the rebound, so be it. If he can make the assist, so be it. But not doing these things when you're thinking about just personal gain, because there's a lot of people who've had personal gain, such as Charles Barkley. I use his name because he's one of the most well-known athletes in the world. He's been on television for the last, 40 years or so. And Charles Barkley never won the NBA championship. He did a lot of great things, but he never won the NBA championship. And I think when you don't have that team success to that magnitude, it's something that can follow you for the rest of your life, and it's not a good thing. Yeah. Karl Malone, he's another one. Two of the greatest players ever, they never won the NBA championship.
And this is a team game.
It's a team game.
And so the contributions that everybody makes can be get you to the place or the goal that God has or that the team has. When you were playing for Dean Smith, he would make pretty clear to you guys what the goals were for the team before you actually began the year.
We had team goals, and he understood there was individual goals as well.
Yeah.
But those individual goals came within the team concept.
Yeah.
But all at the same time, we would sit down with him, and he would talk about, which we talk about in ministry, you got to keep the main thing the main thing. Okay, there's a big picture goal here, and there's some small things. The big picture is we want to win the national championship. Well, we don't have to win the ACC championship in order to win the national championship. So first of all, let's try to win the ACC championship. That's the first goal. The second goal is let's win the national championship. So we would work toward the smaller goals, and then as we work toward the smaller goals, then we would have preparation to work toward the bigger goal.
Yeah.
But all at the same time, I always like to compare these things to ministry in terms of what is it? What is the main goal? What is it when I come to church on Sunday morning as a leader? What is the main goal that I would like to be able to accomplish, with the people that I encounter? Because you're going to encounter different people.
Yep.
Different people are at different places in their life, okay? And when they look to you, when they see you, they look to you as a leader, and you really don't know what's going on in their life. So what is it? And this is what I believe. I believe that the quality time that I have spent with the Lord, He has shown me some things. He has spoken some things to me. And then once I get into a certain situation, all those things start coming back. Those are the exact things that the people need to hear at that particular time. And the main reason you know that is because you've spent quality time with the Lord.
Al, we talked in one of the earlier sessions about how coaches have to approach different players differently. And some players would be able to take correction somewhat harshly, and others would fall apart if the coach didn't bring the correction in the right fashion. I think Dean Smith was pretty good at something like that, wasn't he?
Well, he was fantastic he wasn't a guy who raised his voice or got real loud when he was speaking to you. He never cursed at you at all. In my 4 years at University of North Carolina, he never cursed me one time. But all at the same time, he could speak to you and make you feel like you was 2 feet tall.
Yeah.
If you weren't doing what you're supposed to be doing, if you weren't doing what he had laid out that he felt that you should be doing, then he would correct you. And to me, of all the things we've discussed in all these sessions, I think that's one of the most important things in terms of leadership is being able to give correction and the people being able to receive correction.
There is a part of the ministry gift that Jesus left was apostle, prophet, pastor, teacher, and evangelist. There's a pastoral component that God, I do believe, gives to leaders, where you can tell, even before you talk to somebody, how to approach them and a sensitivity that you have for what you're about ready to bring to them, how it's going to impact them. And so this, I think, is a real neglected area of development in lots of leaders. Many leaders approach individuals and they see themselves as a hammer and everything else is a nail. And that is a flaw, I believe. And one of the traits that I noticed in some of the coaches that I had, particularly in the late 60s and 70s, was some coaches only had one approach, and it was they were a hammer and everything else was a nail. But the way that those sessions concluded is it wound up being pretty discouraging or sometimes even devastating for individuals that were a bit more fragile.
Right, sensitive.
Yes, would be a better word. Mm-hmm. And so, but you say Dean was really good at that one.
I think he was good at being able to read all of his players. You and I talked about this a little bit before we actually came into the studio, is that we talked about you as a leader being able to choose your players.
Yeah.
So it's important that you don't necessarily get the person who's the most talented.
Yeah.
You get the person who's going to fit into what you're trying to do. Because a lot of times if you just go for the talent alone, the chemistry on the team will be very, very bad. So you can't just go for the most talented person. You have to get for the person that fit into the puzzle.
Yeah, that could be a whole nother session on team chemistry, couldn't it?
Yes, it is.
Maybe in the future, as we're getting ready to wind down this session, we could have another session on team chemistry. To me, how people fit into the whole is often very important. We're watching right now the NBA conference finals.
Yes.
And I believe it's the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yes.
And as we're getting ready to conclude the session, I wonder if you want to talk about that team chemistry.
Well, it's amazing as I watch. Actually, that's the team that I used to play for, Oklahoma. They used to be in Seattle, and they moved to Oklahoma. So I played for the Seattle Supersonics, who won the championships in 1979. But this team, everybody on that team has bought into their role. And when you have everybody on the team really buying into their role, some nights a guy can score 4 points or 8 points, and he still be the MVP because of all the things that he would do. And that particular team, they have a few veterans, they have a lot of young players, and they have a lot of fun. I think one of the things that we miss out on in ministry is actually having fun. I think God wants us to have fun in ministry, and sometimes we don't have enough fun, and I think it's very, very important.
Wow. Well, Al, this has been really rich. I know that God's given you tremendous analogies with regard to your sports experiences. And I trust that as we've been sharing some of these things, you will have found this a beneficial time in terms of where God has you in life, where God has you in church, where God may have you in your business. So that some of these principles that are both we learn in sports, and many of these are real spiritual treasures and spiritual principles. I trust that God's going to show you how to live them, so that you can be overall contributor to the team that you find yourself on, and an overall contributor to the things of extending the kingdom of God. So God bless you. Thank you for being with us.